What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Fireside Giants. I'm your host, Anthony Rivardo, joined by my co-host, Alex Wilson. It's been some time since we uploaded. I've been dying. I've had a stomach bug, food poisoning, something. During the Monday Night Football game in the fourth quarter, I came down ill, and honestly, I've been sidelined. I've been on the injured reserve, but today, I'm finally feeling a little bit better, and the number one thing that I wanted to do as soon as I got healthy was return to Fireside Giants. I miss you guys. I miss talking about how much this team brings me pain. I've just been in physical pain for the last few days, but also emotional pain. The Yankees lost the World Series. The Giants lost again on Monday night. A lot of pain going around in my life right now, but hey, every day is a blessing. It's great to be alive. So happy Halloween to everybody. I'm in my Halloween costume. I'm Batman, feeling really cool and really excited to go ahead and discuss how bad the New York Giants are, I guess. Alex, how are you doing today, my friend? How are you feeling on this frightening Halloween, this Thursday afternoon? What are your thoughts on the New York Giants' utter meltdown on Monday night?
Oh, yes, it's been a couple days, Anthony, surviving. The worst of it, I've been suffering through the Yankees, and yesterday's game, just another reason for depression. Now, obviously you guys know I have a little baby, right? And I'm telling you a little story. Little story. Got a nice little cute little outfit for her. Little Halloween costume. It has Giants logo and everything. We got it months ago, right? Before we hit utter collapse. I don't even want to put her outside anymore. I don't want to take her outside in this fucking outfit. Why? Because she's going to be a loser, man. She's a freaking loser in this outfit. I don't want my child to be looked at as a loser in society. That is what the Giants are right now. They're freaking losers. They're losers. It's sad because we have a couple guys on this team that are winners, that want to win. They're giving everything they have. And look, we're going to break down the Steelers. I know it's been a couple days, probably over it. We'll look ahead as well. Just kind of revisit some of the key talking points. Jones had some good moments, had some bad moments. When it comes to the clutch situations, he's basically unplayable. The interception, there was so many open receivers he missed, overthrowing guys. The offensive line wasn't good by any means. In fact, Chris Hubbard he might as well not even been out there. He was Casper for Halloween this year because he was freaking invisible. But this is another problem of roster construction, right? This is roster construction at its finest. Giants address the offensive line and still didn't have a swing tackle, right? They tried to develop Josh Zedu into that role. Did not happen. However, before we dive into this, full episode and kind of talking about the state of this team and looking ahead to the weekend against the Commanders, quick shout out to our sponsor, BetUS. I'm liking a little play for tonight, and I really don't understand, Anthony, why the Texans are plus 110 out there on the sports books. This feels like a trap, but also, how could I say no to free money? Plus 110 on BetUS. Use the code YouTube150 to get 150% bonus return on your first deposit up to $2K, 125% bonus match on the next two deposits. Guys, plus 110 for the Houston Texans. Just don't even overthink it. Don't do it. The Jets are looking horrible. Their defense is horrible. They cannot stop the run. They cannot stop the pass. Ahmad Gardner, not even deserving of the name Sauce anymore, has been horrible this season. And I think if you're a smart bettor right now, Houston Texans money line plus 110, they're giving away free money. It's Halloween. Let's take advantage of the sports books. Let's take advantage of the BetUS promo code. But back to the Giants, Commanders this upcoming week, what they just did in prime time. How close is this locker room to imploding, Anthony? How close is this team to imploding? We're getting there. It's week 9. I'm not feeling so good. They're benching guys. Dante Banks didn't do anything egregious in this game. I didn't notice anything that stood out to me that was a benchable offense, but they benched him anyway. They wanted more out of whoever the hell they had out there. I don't see how this team makes it the rest of the year if they keep losing games, especially another NFC East rival. Jaden Daniels being considered a top 5 quarterback already. God, why did I deserve this? What did I do to deserve Jaden Daniels being my favorite player in the draft and then going to our freaking NFC East rival? What did I do to deserve this universe that I am in? I don't know. It pains me every single day. I know we weren't in range to get him. I know it's a dead horse. I'm not going down that path. What I am saying is we are in purgatory. We don't know what the future looks like. And the fucking Commanders have a future before we do. And they had a whole new coaching staff, a whole new this. Their defense looked terrible. Their roster looked bad in general going into the season. But what a great quarterback can do for you. Inspire, play make. miracles last week. They had a miracle against the Bears. Doesn't happen without a little good luck, and a new quarterback sometimes does that. Just a little good luck. That's all it was. It just is what it is right now. The Giants are in the dirt, being rubbed in the dirt, really, a little swirly action. And I really just don't know where to go from here. I want you to get your take on this. Do you think this locker room is approaching levels of potential demise?
Yeah, I think that it is. I want to comment on what you said about Deonte Banks. If his leash was so short going into that game, why even put him out there? If he was one mistake away from being benched, why not just bench him in the first place, right? We talked about that all throughout the week, Alex. We were saying, should Deonte Banks be benched? Should he play on this game? What are the Giants going to do about this? They ended up starting him in the game, and then immediately he makes one mistake by tackling too low on Najee Harris. Najee Harris hurdles him, and they bench Deonte Banks. Honestly, guys, I thought that was confusing. I didn't necessarily agree with it. I thought that what happened there was the freak of nature that is Najee Harris. He's been hurdling people. He's been trucking through people for several weeks. He's been going for 100-plus yards. He's been a dominant force on the football field for the Steelers for the last several weeks. He hurdles Deonte Banks, and that's enough to bench Deonte Banks. If you were going to bench Deonte Banks, it should have just been last week when he failed to put in any effort against that tackle attempt on Jalen Hurts. That should have been the benching moment. Why was that tackle attempt on Najee Harris the benching moment? I don't really understand. And then he later in that drive saves a touchdown. He shoves George Pickens out of the end zone, forces an incompletion, and saves a touchdown. Now, I know that there are some who criticize the fact that he didn't go for the ball and he went for the body instead, but hey, a play made is a play made. He forced an incompletion and he saved a touchdown on that play. So I didn't understand the Deonte Banks benching in this game. I understand it as a concept generally because his lack of effort this season has been poor. It's been noticeable how little effort he's put in. But on that specific drive, I didn't really see the justification for it, which is why I was just confused that it happened then. Not confused that it happened, but why did it happen then? And that feels like a common theme with this Giants team. Like they do certain things, but the timing of it doesn't always feel right. And so is this coaching staff going to lose this locker room, Alex, if that's what you're asking me? Yeah, I think that's a possibility because you've got Deonte Banks, lack of effort all season, finally puts in some effort, saves a touchdown, and then he gets benched, right? Like he finally put in a little bit of effort, and then he got benched. So what's the logic in that? Are you not going to lose your confidence in your coach if they're benching you after making a good play rather than the bad play that you made the week before? It's just confusing for the players. And I think that there's a lot of that going on. And I think that this Giants team now at 2-6, with all these losses just continuing to pile up and another opportunity to lose again versus a division rival in the Commanders this weekend. You lose that, you're 2-7. The season is deep down in the toilet, just getting flushed. I don't know where you go from there, but I know that the Giants players who have been in this locker room for a while are desperate to start winning. In particular, Dexter Lawrence is desperate to win some goddamn football games. He comments about it every single week. He's sick and tired of losing. And he is this locker room's biggest leader, I think. He is the team captain on the defensive side of the ball. And before Deonte Banks got benched, it was Dexter Lawrence chewing out Deonte Banks and screaming at him. So you have to feel like the team captain had a little bit of a part to play in that benching. So if Dexter Lawrence is starting to have his emotions run over on the field and on the sidelines, I imagine that he's also getting pissed off in the locker rooms. And like you said, Alex, once the coach loses the locker room, everything gets called into question. We've seen that time and time again with this New York Giants team. We'll see John Mara make these promises like he did a week ago. We'll see him say, hey, I'm not anticipating any firings at the end of the season. We'll see that happen every single year. But then the locker room gets lost, the coaching staff gets called into question, and the inevitable firings become a reality. Even though John Mara promises it won't happen, sometimes it does, and it's always related to the locker room being lost. So the Giants, number one thing that they need to desperately do over the course of the rest of the season is keep that locker room intact. And Alex, what is the way to keep a locker room intact? There is only one solution. You have to win some fucking football games. And I know that's not necessarily the thing that Giants fans want to hear. A lot of Giants fans are already on the tank. They want to see this team lose games. They think that losing is in the best interest of this team. But if you do believe in Brian Daboll and you want him to be the head coach in 2025, this Giants team has to win some football games. They cannot lose out. They cannot continue to lose almost every single week. And Brian Daboll will not keep his job if that happens because the locker room will run amok. You have to put it into the perspective of the individual players in that locker room, Alex. You have to think about this team is not just one player. It's not just one group of players. A lot of these guys are fighting for their lives, fighting for their livelihoods. This is a job to them, and they get paid on results. They have to play well, and they have to lead their team to wins. And also, how many more years do they have left to play the game that they love? Dexter Lawrence is past 25. Is he going to exit his prime in the next 3 years? Who knows? But he wants to win some games while he's in his prime. He wants to contribute to a winning football team. These players are playing in their prime, sacrificing their bodies and their lives for the entertainment of fans, hoping to win games every single week. And if they're continuing to fail, they're going to get disappointed. They're going to revolt, and the coaching staff is going to feel the effects of that. So this Giants team, the only way that they can remedy any of their problems is to start winning some football games. And you're going to have to win tough games because you're a bad team. So you're going to have to beat teams like the Commanders. You're going to have to go to Germany and beat the Panthers. If the Giants lose to the Panthers, holy shit, you might as well just leave Brian Dable in Germany, because if he comes back from Germany after a loss to the Panthers, it's going to be mayhem. It's going to be bedlam in MetLife Stadium. So the Giants need to start winning football games. It's not enough to be good enough. It's not enough to be competitive with a shitty Pittsburgh Steelers offense on prime time. That's not enough, right? You have to start winning some of those games. And Alex, this is what leads me to my final point here. The only way that you start winning some games is to get some better play out of your fucking quarterback. Because what we're getting from Daniel Jones has been a disgrace for the last several weeks, and it still is. It was a disgrace on Monday night. I don't care what anybody says. Oh, he played well through the first 3 quarters, blah, blah, blah. This is the point that I want to make, and this is a point that I make a lot, Alex, and I think this is something that Giants fans need to listen to very carefully. Giants fans will get on social media, and they will throw out this bullshit about box score stats and EPA. They'll say all these different things like, Daniel Jones isn't playing that bad. Look at these advanced stats. He's actually playing good football. But the one thing that box score stats and EPA can't account for is mistakes prior to the snap. And that happens a lot with Daniel Jones. You cannot factor that into any statistics. There is no way. PFF grades can't even do it. There is nothing that can tell you how many mistakes a quarterback made prior to the ball being snapped. But when do we get the answers to that? When the head coach throws the quarterback under the bus and says, the quarterback made a mistake. Now, Alex, I know you know what play I'm talking about. In the fourth quarter, Jermaine Illuminor gives up a sack to TJ Watt. Strip sack, Giants lose the ball, Steelers recover, right? On the surface level and on the box score stats, how does that play go down, Alex? It goes down as a surrendered sack by Jermaine Illuminor. But what did Brian Dable tell us after the game? He told us that play, the responsibility was actually on Daniel Jones. It was not the fault of Jermaine Illuminor. Daniel Jones was meant to shift the protection and move the tight end over to chip on TJ Watt. Brian Dable, this is not my words, this is Brian Dable's words. He said that Daniel Jones got distracted by what he was seeing in the coverage pre-snap and forgot to shift the tight end over. And what was the result? A strip sack. How many times do you guys think that has happened throughout the course of the season? That Daniel Jones has failed to pick up something pre-snap or failed to make a crucial decision or has made the wrong decision pre-snap. And again, keep in mind, these are the plays that are impossible to factor into box score stats and EPA and PFF grades. So whenever these stats, these advanced analytics get thrown at you as a Giants fan and they're like, Daniel Jones isn't that bad, look at this. Know that there are all these other plays that go under the radar, all these different nuances to playing quarterback that cannot be recorded in a statistical format. These are the differences between winning and losing football games. And Daniel Jones makes an uncountable number of those mistakes every single game. He is a bad quarterback, and the only way that the Giants can save this locker room, to get back to the original point here, and start to win some goddamn football games, is to try and make a change at quarterback. Because you just never know. Sure, maybe you believe that Daniel Jones is the best quarterback on this roster. It's totally possible. But at the end of the day, you don't know until you see it. It's totally possible as well that Drew Lock goes out there, fires some shots downfield, Malik Neighbors makes some highlight grabs, and the Giants pull out some wins out of their ass. That is totally possible. But we don't know until we see it. So the Giants just need to get it over with, take this fucking guy out of the starting lineup, and let somebody else throw the goddamn football for the New York Giants, because I can't take this anymore. The interception at the end of the game, I haven't even mentioned it yet. That was an embarrassing disaster throw from Daniel Jones. The fumble was bad. All of it was bad. honestly, Alex, the Giants had an opportunity to make a comeback in that game, and I didn't even give a shit because I knew that they weren't going to complete that comeback. I had zero faith, zero hope in Daniel Jones. I know a lot of Giants fans on social media were excited. Oh my God, are we really going to pull this off? Are we going to make this comeback? Fuck no. We were not going to make that comeback with Daniel Jones throwing the ball. I knew that. I knew an interception or a fumble was bound to happen. And hey, both of those things happened. Not only did he do one of them, somehow he found a way to do both of them. It was embarrassing. I'm done with it. I'm tired of it. The leash should be way shorter than it is. I can't understand how the fuck he's starting against Washington this upcoming weekend, at home no less, where we all know he plays like shit. I'm so tired of it, Alex. I just want to see this Giants team win some games, save some jobs, and give me some goddamn hope for the future.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the fact that we get to sit here and beat the dead horse for the next 10 weeks, like, really upsets me. You know what I mean? It really, really upsets me because we're going to see the same things happen over and over again. We've seen it for 6 years now. Why would that change now? Why? It's not going to change, guys. Nothing's going to change. We're going to see the same Giants team that goes down the stretch. They win a couple games here and there. They put themselves out of draft position to get a quarterback. And we're going to be right back to square one with a guy that we have to choose. Because listen, Anthony, the Giants last year, they decided not to force a quarterback selection. They won't Malik Neighbors. Am I upset that we got Malik Neighbors? No. I love Malik Neighbors. He's phenomenal. But the Giants said to themselves, in a really strong quarterback class, we are not going to force the pick at quarterback. Well, you want to know what they're going to do next year in a weak quarterback class? Force a pick at quarterback because they don't have a choice. They don't have a choice. If they miss out on Cam Ward, they're going to force a Nussmeier selection. Is he going to be a good quarterback in the NFL? I have no idea. He's got tools. He's very inexperienced, though. He needs time. He needs a full year maybe on the bench to take over here. That's where we are with his development, in my opinion. We're going to force a Jalen Milroe. We're going to force this guy or that. What doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is that the Giants need a quarterback, and they're going to have to force one in a weak quarterback class when they could have taken one in a strong quarterback class. But they decided not to do that. That's okay. They got Neighbors, got a legitimate star WR1, and I'm not upset about that. I want to make that very, very, very clear. But now we're facing a situation that's very problematic because we have to keep this coaching staff because that John Mayer doesn't want to turn it over. I get it. You want some continuity. You want to see what they can do. This is their team. This is their foundation. This is Joe Shane's team, by the way. And I want to make that very clear, Anthony. Everything about this team is Joe Shane's team. The contracts, the foundation, the players, the starters. There is barely anything left from the Dave Gettleman era. This is Joe Shane's roster, and it's not performing well. So he gets the blame. There's no more wait until we get money off the books. Wait until we get some new players in. Wait till he fixes this. Wait till he corrects this. Now he's in the process of fixing his own fucking mistakes, right? Daniel Jones is the only thing that got left over, and he signed into an extension. That's on him. That's on Joe Shane. That's on Brian Dable. This is their mess. They have to clean it up. And the fact of the matter is, going into this draft, if you don't get Cam Ward, you are taking a blind shot at a quarterback is not ready to play right now. Is not ready to take over. That is a really big concern. You're going to have to get a bridge. You're going to have to go get someone that can win some football games. If they don't go and get somebody that can win some football games, we know it's not Daniel Jones. We know it's not Drew Lock. We know it's not Tommy DeVito. It's going to be a Jameis Winston or it's going to be a Sam Darnold, right? Those are the two guys. Those are the two guys that can win you football games next year. And at least galvanize the locker room. Keep these guys together. There are not many players I think in that locker room that trust Daniel Jones can be the guy anymore. I mean, they're all saying it, right? Whether they're saying it his name or not, I'm open. We got to make more plays downfield. We got to be more explosive. He missed this, on the strip sack. They're saying it without saying his name, and they've been saying it for 3 weeks now. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to sit here and beat a dead horse over and over again every single week. But what else is there to talk about with this team? I mean, there are some positives, and I love to harp on them. You know what I mean? I love to harp on the fact that Dexter Lawrence is so good. But then the second thought is we're wasting that talent. We're wasting that time. We're wasting that contract, wasting that quality, right? Neighbors, wasting that quality. What else is there to say? I just feel like you're in no man's land right now, man. Like I feel like we're in no man's land. And that's tough to say because we have instilled so much faith, so much hope, and so much optimism. I don't want to be negative anymore, Anthony. I really, really don't. But I don't know what else this team is giving us to say. What else are they telling us? They're benching second-year players. They are making dumb mistakes in critical moments. The only positive that I can really harp on right now, Tyrone Tracy. Tyrone Tracy is a bona fide playmaker. 145 yards, 45-yard touchdown run. That kid is special. And we called that from day one. That was a home run pick, right? We love that. Finally getting value from a mid-late round, really, running back. That's what good teams do. They maximize late-round capital at positions that are easily overturned and easily supplemented. Tyrone Tracy is a really good player. Really happy he's trending in the right direction for this week. We need him. We need him badly, right? So, Anthony, looking forward, we'll try to end this on a positive note. What are you looking for in terms of development the rest of the season? For me, just don't let the locker room, if it collapses, it sets such a bad example for these young players. Dexter Lawrence is yelling at the secondary. He's supposed to be the leader, the guy that brings them together, and he's kind of alienating Deontay Banks. He was like, the only thing he literally said after the game, the only thing I saw after the game that concerned me was his effort on the touchdown, George Pickens touchdown catch. And there really wasn't anything there. Like, they just benched him for no reason. So it's like, all right, now we have our captains making judgment calls and convincing our coaches to help bench guys when they shouldn't be benched. You know what I mean? Like, that's concerning to me. That's a lack of judgment. I don't know, man. It just feels like we're going down a road of no return. It sucks because, like, we had so much hope a year ago, and for all of this to happen in the course of a year and a half, it's like, where do you go from here? It sucks. Like, it hurts. It's mentally a struggle to be a Giants fan right now.
That it sure is. As I've kept saying throughout the past few weeks, it sucks that we're at the point that we're at and we have to look ahead to the draft, and it's not even Halloween. Today it is Halloween and things are scary for the Giants. It's scary for everybody on Halloween, of course, but particularly scary time to be a Giants fan and having to look ahead to the draft. But honestly, Alex, I'm more excited to talk about the draft and some of these top quarterback prospects on tomorrow's episode than I am to talk about this actual team. I'm excited to talk about Garrett Nussmeier. Let's get on the Nuss bus, baby. I'm excited to talk about Cam Ward. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about some of these quarterbacks. I can't wait to do that tomorrow. So, honestly, that's what's going to keep me going, knowing that the Giants are going to be really bad and be in position to get a quarterback. I just can't wait to see a quarterback take over that's not named Daniel Jones. And again, I know, guys, Drew Lock isn't great. Tommy DeVito isn't great. Those guys are not necessarily better than Daniel Jones, but they do have one thing over him: the contract situation. They do not have the injury clause that Daniel Jones has. And when Daniel Jones is failing to move tight ends to chip block the greatest pass rusher in the NFL, and he's taking hits and fumbling the football as a result, I mean, you're asking for this guy to get injured. I've said this before, and I'll say it again, Alex. The probability of Daniel Jones getting injured this season is always higher than the probability of him staying healthy based on his career history. He had one anomaly of a 2022 season. That is the only season where he didn't miss any time due to an injury. It's also the only season that he actually played good football. So that whole entire season is an anomaly. The Giants are banking on an anomaly. It's not going to happen. Let it fucking go. Just move on. He's going to get hurt at some point this season. History tells you that is more likely to happen than to not. So protect yourself. Take him out of the lineup. You're not winning games because of him. You are technically losing games because of him. So just take him out of the lineup. Let somebody else bear that cross. Let somebody else be the losing quarterback. Why make it be the guy with the $20 million injury clause? It just doesn't make sense. If you want this Giants fan base to get behind you as a regime, Joe Schoen and Brian Dable continue to support you and want you here in 2025, you got to look ahead to the future and protect it. You can't just keep protecting this lame duck quarterback who's sucked for the last 6 years. Stop protecting him and start protecting your future and your fan base. Look ahead to the future and pull this goddamn loser of a quarterback out of the lineup. Just put somebody else in there and let somebody else do the dirty work. Let somebody else lose these games in horrible fashion. It doesn't need to be Daniel Jones anymore. Just put somebody else in there. It's not going to make a difference. You're right. Putting Drew Lock in probably doesn't make this team win any more games. But that's not really that's the point, though. That is the point. Daniel Jones isn't helping this team win games. So why can't you just have somebody else lose these football games? It doesn't make any sense to me. Whatever. I'm so over it, Alex. I'm just tired of watching DJ. I'm tired of the fan interactions on social media of everybody getting into a bloodbath. Half of people are trying to defend Daniel Jones and say he doesn't have enough help. Others are just like, what are you talking about? We've seen this for 6 years. That's where I'm at. It's been 6 years of this shit. Sick and tired. I want a quarterback change. And honestly, I know a lot of fans, like I said, don't want to see this team win some games. I kind of want to see Brian Dable get a chance to draft his quarterback. So I need to see this team win some games so he can keep his job. And so that I can see this supposed quarterback guru get his hands on a young rookie quarterback with a high upside skill set. I need to see it. So I want to see this Giants team win at least a couple more times. And then hopefully we can go into 2025 with a new QB under center. And again, I'm excited to discuss some of those quarterbacks tomorrow afternoon. Alex, any closing thoughts on this pitiful loss on Monday Night Football to the Steelers?
And I think I've expressed everything I have to say. Anything positive that we can find, we will talk about. We will do our best. They just don't give us many reasons to have podcasts that are positive. You know what I mean? So we're begging, man. Like Anthony, man, we're begging, we're praying, we're on our knees begging, please give us something positive to discuss. Give us a reason to be excited, to be hopeful. That's all we're asking for. We want to talk about it. I seriously do, so badly. More than anything else, I want to talk about the Giants being a good football team more than anything else in the world. And they refuse to let me be happy. They won't let me be happy. They won't let me do it. They won't let me enjoy Sundays, dude. I hate Sundays now. Hate them. Last Sunday was the best Sunday I've had in a long time. I want to know why the Giants weren't there to lose. They made Monday miserable instead. It was like, and it's only week 9. God, freaking hate it. I hate it. But this is our life right now. We're going to survive it as we have the last 5 years of inadequacy. We will get through this. We'll find our passer. We'll find a future. We'll find a hope, something to lean on. Honestly, even if it's a Nussmeier, if it's Cam Ward, if it's Jalen Milroe, I don't care. I just want to have any reason to be hopeful that we may have something for the future. Just anything, something. Just need an inkling of hope. That's all I'm asking for.
Hey, you know what, though? I will say I'm going to end this on a positive note. At least we do have that in the backfield. Tyrone Tracy Jr. has clearly won that starting running back job. He's taken it from Devin Singletary. And man, he is fucking awesome. I love Tyrone Tracy Jr. Great running back. Super excited about his future with this team. And can't wait to watch him continue to make explosive runs in the New York Giants backfield because, well, the Giants passing attack ain't making any explosive plays. That much is for goddamn sure. Daniel Jones ain't creating that explosion. So shout out to Tyrone Tracy for being one of those young, hopeful pieces and creating some of those explosive plays for this Giants offense. But yeah, I'm with you, Alex. Can't wait for a quarterback to create those explosive plays, whether it be with their legs like Jaden Daniels can do or be with the arm like Jaden Daniels can do, and only continuing to bring up Jaden Daniels. Why? Because the Giants are facing Jaden Daniels on Sunday. So obviously game preview throughout the weekend, and we'll be talking about that some more. But yeah, happy to be back. Had to rest up for a few days, but glad to be back talking with my Fireside Giants family. Love and appreciate you guys all. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this episode. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Ring the bell so you don't miss an episode and comment your thoughts down below in the comment section. Listen on Apple or Spotify. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review. Go ahead and follow us on all of our social media channels at Fireside Giants, presented by BetUS. Catch you on the next one. Have a good one. And let's go Giants.